How many of you know this theorem? Just raise your hands. Okay, so almost everybody. You probably learned in school that Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician and philosopher, discovered this theorem. But what if I told you that wasn't the full story? That this theorem was known in Babylon, ancient Egypt, and ancient India thousands of years before that. Let me give you a few more. The quadratic formula, which is a fundamental part of schooling, was discovered by Al-Khwarizmi, an Arab mathematician. Another one is Cauchy's law. Does it ring a bell? Probably not, because we know it as the law of cosines. It is a common practice in science to name theorems after the people who discovered them as a way of honoring their lifelong work and legacy. So why wasn't that the case here? I mean, we know the Pascal triangle, the Fibonacci sequence, Gauss's law, Euler's identity. Do you notice something here? These are all Western names, and it's no coincidence. It's a historical bias that credits discoveries to the dominant narrative rather than their true origin. And more than that, it's a missed opportunity to teach people how many cultures actually contributed to our understanding of the world. Now, don't get me wrong, this is much bigger than just silly math equations. It's about how history is written, how knowledge is credited, and how entire civilizations are remembered, or in this case, forgotten. The Arab world, consisting of about 22 countries located in North Africa and the Middle East, roughly 3,000 years ago was the center of civilization, where math, medicine, and science, art, literature, and philosophy flourished. This era was known as the Golden Age of Islam. However, nowadays, we see a very different picture, one in which the Middle East is thought of as lesser than the West, one in which the barbaric Arab needs saving from the educated Westerner. This shift in perception didn't just happen overnight. It was shaped by narratives, or more precisely, a single narrative. Edward Said, a renowned Palestinian-American academic and literary critic, talks about the disruptive nature of the single narrative the West has created for the East. He does that in his book, Orientalism. Those misleading portrayals and depictions still shape global perspectives today and cloud our judgments. Moreover, being Armenian, I've realized that my own country exists within this strange space, culturally Middle Eastern, but politically striving to be seen as Western. And even that is arguable. But in its core, it's the same fear of being seen as inferior that drives us into masking our true beings. It is one thing to hold the bias and be aware of it, and another to be completely and utterly clueless about it. Gender inequality, for example, is a bias that most of us recognize and can differentiate because it's so widely discussed. But the bias in how we view the West versus the East, it's different. It's so deeply embedded in our worldview that most people can't even see past it. And that's what makes it so powerful. With the current state of the world, sadly filled with war, chaos, and division, it becomes more important than ever to break free from the suffocating grip the single narrative has on every single one of us. Because when we let a single perspective to dominate, we lose the ability to truly understand one another. But breaking free starts with something simple, questioning what we think we know. The future doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's shaped by the stories we choose to move forward. But when those stories are one-sided or incomplete, their echoes distort the world we're trying to create. The single narrative that has created how we view the West, the East, the Arab world, or even ourselves isn't just a reflection of the past. It's a shadow that follows us into the future. But we can change what echoes by telling fuller stories and by acknowledging all the contributors to human society. We will not only rewrite the past, but we will reshape the future. And remember, history is more than facts. It's a reflection of power, and understanding that gives us the power to see beyond it.